Good evening. Today video we are going to see about MapReduce, and before going to start seeing my video, subscribe it for all the useful updates that you are going to get it. What is MapReduce? MapReduce is a software framework and programming model used for processing huge amounts of data, and it's also work in two phases, that is namely map and reduce. Map task deal with splitting and mapping of data, while reduce task schedule and reduce the data. As you all know, Hadoop is capable of running MapReduce programs written in various languages like I would prefer Ruby and C++, but it's also useful in parallel computing, where it's parallel in nature, and it's also useful for performing large-scale data analysis using multi-machine in the cluster. And also the main important input is to each phase is like it's a key value pair. So in addition, every programmer or every analyst needs to specify two functions called map function and reduce function. So in the beginning stage in the podcast, I'm planning to tell you how MapReduce works, the complete process, the whole process that we are going to see in this video. So like in the podcast, like it's all about the synopsis about MapReduce. MapReduce. So in today's data-driven market, algorithms and applications are collecting data like 24/7 hours about people, process, systems and organizations, resulting in huge volume of data. The challenge though is how to process this massive amount of data with speed and efficiency and without sacrificing the meaningful insights we have to give. So this is where MapReduce programming model comes to rescue. So initially used by Google for analyzing its search results, MapReduce gained massive popularity due to its ability to split process terabytes of data in parallel, achieving quicker results. So MapReduce is a programming model or pattern within the Hadoop framework that is used to access big data stored in the HDFS. So it is the core component integral to the functioning of Hadoop framework. MapReduce facilitates concurrent processing by splitting petabytes of data into smaller chunks and also processing them in parallel on Hadoop commodity servers. So in the end, it aggregates all the data from multiple servers to return a consolidated output back to the application. So with MapReduce, rather than sending data to where the application or logic resides, the logic is executed on the server where the data already resides to expedite to the processing. So data access and storage is disk-based. For example, the input is usually stored as files containing structured data or unstructured data, and the output is also stored in the files. So MapReduce was once the only method through which the data can be stored in the HDFS can be retrieved, but that is no longer the case. Today there are lots of query-based systems such as Hive and Pick, which is used to retrieve the data from the HDFS using the SQL commands. So like how MapReduce will work, it means like the map function takes input from the disk as key value pairs, then processes them and produces another set of intermediate key value pair as output. So the reduce function also takes the input as that key values pair and produces key value pairs as output. So the reduce function, the map function will take the input from the disk, that is as key value pair, process them and produces another set of intermediate key value pairs as output, and the reduce function also takes the inputs as key value pair and produce key value pair as output. So the types of keys and values differ based upon the use case. So mapper as well as reducer are the Hadoop server that run the map and reduce functions respectively. So MapReduce, I will talk about map first. The input data is first split into smaller blocks. Each block is then assigned to the mapper for processing. For example, if the file has 100 records to be processed, 100 mappers can run together to process one record each, or maybe 50 mappers can run together to process 2 records each. So the Hadoop framework decides how many mappers to use based on the size of data to be processed and the memory block available on each mapper server. Coming to the reduce, after all the mappers complete processing, the framework shuffles and sorts the results before passing them on the reducers. A reducer cannot start while a mapper is still in progress, so all the map output values that have the same key are assigned to the single reducer, which then aggregates the values for that particular key. So combine and partition is also the other process. So I'm not going to take about that. A map reducer example I will give you in the description box below. So like the map reducer, what is the example of map reducer and also the use case. You can see the map reducer use case and the example in the description box below. Okay, then after that, like how to implement the map reduce is like through Java or C++, Ruby, Python programs. So that is a program for that. So you can use any Python, Ruby or C++ program to use it. The input to the important thing is the input to each phase is key value pair. So in addition, every programmer needs to specify two functions. So that is very important. Every programmer needs to specify two functions. For example, input to a map reduce job is divided into fixed size pieces called input splits. That the input split is the chunk of the input that is consumed by single map. Whereas mapping is the very first phase in the execution of map reduce program. In this phase, the data is the mapping phase. The data is in each split is passed to a mapping function to produce output values. For example, a job of mapping phase is to count a number of occurrences of each word from input splits and then prepare the list in the form of word and frequency. That is a key and value pair. Then shuffling. Shuffling this phase consumes the output of mapping phase. This task is to consolidate the first phase is like input split and second phase is mapping. Third phase is shuffling. The shuffling process consumes the output of mapping phase. Its task is to consolidate the relevant records from mapping phase output in our example. So in this, the same words are clubbed together along with the respective frequency. And coming to the reducing phase, in this phase, output values from the shuffling phase are aggregated. So this phase combines values from shuffling phase and returns a single output value. In short, this phase summarizes the complete data set. So in a map reduced architecture will be like one map task is created for each split, which then executes map function for each record in the split. And it always beneficial to have multiple split because the time taken to process a split is small as compared to the time taken for processing of whole input. When the splits are smaller, the processing is better to load balanced since we are processing the splits in parallel. However, it is not desirable to have splits too small in size because when splits are too small, the overload of managing the splits and map task creation begins to dominate the total job execution time. So for example, for most jobs, it is better to make a split size equal to the size of an HDFS block. That is 64 maybe default, I think 64 MB. So the execution of map task results into writing output to a local disk on the respective node and not to the HDFS. So the reason for choosing the local disk over HDFS is to avoid the replication which takes place in case of HDFS store operation. And also once the job is completed, the map output can be, that is the map output is the intermediate output which is processed by reduced task to produce the final output. So once the job is complete, the map output can be thrown away and it also will be stored in a HDFS with replication becomes overkill. So in the event of node failure, before the map output is consumed by the reduced task, Hadoop returns the map task on another node and recreates the map output. So reduced task doesn't work on the concept of data locality. So on this machine, the output is merged and then passed to the user-defined reduce function. So Hadoop divides the job into two tasks, that is map task. Map task is splits and mapping. Reduce task is shuffling and reducing. So the complete execution process, that is the execution of map and reduce, that is map task is splits and mapping. Reduce task is shuffling and reducing. It is controlled by two types of entity called job tracker and multiple task tracker. That is job tracker is master and that is slave is multiple task tracker. So for every job submitted for execution in the system, there is one job tracker that resides on same node and there are multiple task tracker slaves which is reside on data node. So job tracker that is master that will reside on name node, whereas multiple task tracker that is a slave that will reside on the data node. So a job is divided into multiple tasks which are then run onto multiple data nodes in a cluster, where it have a responsibility of job tracker to coordinate the activity by scheduling tasks to run on different data nodes, whereas execution of each individual task is then looked after by task tracker, which resides on every data node executing part of the job. Task tracker responsibility is to send the progress report to the job tracker. Whereas task tracker periodically sends heartbeat signal to the job tracker so as to notify that of the current state of the system. Thus, job tracker keeps track of the overall progress of each job. In the event of task failure, the job tracker can reschedule it on a different task tracker. So this what is all about MapReduce and the function of MapReduce, and also about the master slave data node and name node. So hope you like this podcast. So if you are going to put earphone and hear this podcast, you will definitely like able to understand the function of MapReduce and what is MapReduce and what are all the features present in it. So hope this podcast is useful for you, and I am planning for Kaggle part 3 and TensorFlow part I am planning for the next few videos that I am going to release by this month. That is, one is Kaggle part 3, and that is hands-on demo for Titanic dataset, and second one is TensorFlow part 2. So hope you are all enjoying the videos which I am publishing. And for the free data science certifications, you can review all the the 3 previous videos, like the Edudaya course, Analytics Vidya course, and also Udacity course. I have uploaded in the past 3 videos. You can also check out for the free certifications also. So hope you are like giving all your supports and your encouragement. You should keep on subscribing so that it will make me like it's like a support. So please subscribe and make me feel to reach 1K subscribers soon. So thank you so much, and also thank you everyone, and like, share and subscribe to Automation 2050 channel, and also you can share this technology channel to your friends also. Thank you. We'll see on next video for I will publish next video like Kaggle part 3 and TensorFlow part 2. Let's see, like this month this is the target. So please keep subscribing for all the further updates. Thank you. Please like, share, support Automation 2050 channel. Thanks.